Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can everyone hear and see me well? Good. Let me introduce myself. My name is Christina Karpjuk and I'm an English consultant at the Libretera Publishing House. My teaching English experience started when I accomplished the Trinity course in Prague. Then I got my master's degree in teaching English as a second language at the University of Southampton, which is in England. After I came back to Ukraine, I worked as an English teacher at the Ternopil School No. 3, which is specialized in foreign languages, and then at our local Ternopil Gymnasium, named after Franco. Today, I am the author of the book on methodology on how to teach English to primary school students. I am also the co-author of the new course called Kids Online. Now, I would like to get more acquainted with you guys. Please, ladies, tell me, where are you from? Write your answers in our Zoom chat. Одеса, Київ, Львів, Тернопіль, Чернігів. Well, I can see that we have a lot of people from different parts of Ukraine today, which will make our webinar even more interesting. So, welcome to our webinar, Let Them Grow with Kids Online 5. I will present to you our new English course, and I will also discuss with you some important as well as interesting facts about fifth form students and about the realities and necessities which we have today at our new Ukrainian school. According to its concept, there are two stages. The first one is the adaptation period, which goes from the 5th to the 6th form, and then we have the basic secondary school period, which lasts from the 7th till the 9th forms. Since we are going to talk about the 5th form exactly, it is important to take into account who are these 5th form students and what makes them different from other learners. First of all, they are 10 or 11-year-old children who have entered the transition period from primary school to secondary, which means they are still young learners. Ladies, what peculiarities do young learners possess? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. Yes, Olha, they are very active. They are creative. Yes, Serhi, they can be very impatient and naughty. Well, in general, young learners are very active, impatient, emotional, egocentric, competitive, curious, and they have a very rich imagination. As far as we're going to talk about those young learners who are in the adaptation period, it is also necessary to take into account what makes them different from those young learners who are in primary school. Ladies, what specific differences can you name? Yes, the adaptation period students are more independent. Yes, Serhi, they know more. They are very curious. Well, in general, unlike primary students, the adaptation period students are more independent. They have certain views about their likes and dislikes. They can tell the difference between fact and fiction, and they have more skills, abilities, and knowledge in various spheres, including English. However, there is still one more point that I would like to mention here. All of today's young learners are digital natives, which means they feel very comfortable and confident with using gadgets in their life because they have been growing up with technology since childhood. On the other hand, there are those people who are called the digital immigrants. This term refers to those people who also use technology in their life regularly, but they have come a bit later to this new modern world. There are also people who are called the technophobes, and this term refers to those people who are afraid of using technology in their life and work. Think of yourself, ladies. Where do you stand? Are you a digital native, a digital immigrant, or a technophobe? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. Digital immigrant. Native. Digital immigrant. Well, I can see that most of you are all digital immigrants, and some of you are even digital natives, which is great because as teachers of English, we cannot ignore the fact that computers with internet connection give us many reasons to use them in our work. Let's discuss some of these reasons. First of all, the use of technology is a natural and integrated part of our young learners' lives. In other words, as I have already mentioned, all of our young learners are digital natives. Next, due to today's problems in Ukraine, many of us have to teach and learn everything online rather than face-to-face, because our safety and the safety of our students are the priority tasks number one. Gadgets offer us new ways for language practice. Technology presents us with new opportunities and access to different authentic materials. Technology is quite mobile, which means it can be used in different places. Thus, the internet offers us great opportunities for collaboration and communication when we are all geographically in various places. And finally, using ICT tools gives learners practice in such language skills as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. These and many other reasons lead us to different new fresh ideas which have been implemented in our new course called Kids Online. The projects that are shown now are designed specifically for those students who have entered the 5th form this year of the new Ukrainian school. As you can see, beside from the student's book, there's also an activity book, a test book, a grammar book, a teacher's book, and a web resource. There's audio support for such components as the student's book, the activity book, and the test book. The printed version of the teacher's book will traditionally appear in the end of this school year, but right now there are some already made lesson plans which you can download for free from our official Libra.Data website. Now, let's take a closer look at the components. The first one is, of course, the student's book. It contains the contents pages, the introductory unit, 8 theme-based units, the English-Ukrainian vocabulary list, and the irregular verbs list. The student's book begins with an introduction called Let's Get Started, which introduces the new characters, symbols, and headings which will be used throughout the course. Every unit begins with a title page where you can see the clear objectives as for the language and skills that students are going to learn and develop throughout the unit. The questions on the title page encourage learners to focus on the topic on one hand, and on the other, they encourage them to remember all of the material that they may already know on that topic. These questions can also help learners to lead into the unit and to boost their confidence level. Every unit contains the Kids Online section, vocabulary search, grammar search, reading, listening, speaking, and writing searches, the look back section, and the self-check section. The activity book offers extra practice of all of the material presented in the student's book. In fact, each student's book page has a corresponding activity book page, which makes them even more comfortable in use. Since grammar is a rather complicated and hard sphere for so many students, we've decided to create a grammar book which offers further readings and practice of all of the grammar material presented in each unit of the course. The test book is a supplementary to the course which contains tests. You can use those tests in order to diagnose your students' progress in each unit, or you can apply them as samples in order to create your own tests. As you can see, all of these components complement each other because they have been carefully planned and designed in order to create a single coherent system of materials. Now, let's take a closer look at the inner structure of the whole course. Every unit starts with 2 pages of an imaginary website called kidsonline.net, which takes 2 lessons. It is a special section which provides the exposure of online communication through the texts and recordings. In every Kids Online section, students listen to peers who live in different countries and get familiar with their likes and dislikes, beliefs, and opinions. Although all of the 4 skills are developed in this section, there is a special emphasis put on reading. In fact, this is the first place where students practice this skill in form of different blogs, news, and comments. New words are introduced contextually and are put into special boxes called Words for You for easy reference. All those new words are also recorded for your students to listen and repeat. The activity book suggests further practice with those new words. The text of online written and oral communication can be used as examples for students for written or oral communication. The section usually finishes with the task to produce some online communication text by the learners on their own. There are also the so-called ICT tasks in the student's book that require using gadgets with internet connection. In fact, these ICT tasks can be found in different parts of the unit, not just only in Kids Online. Next, we have the vocabulary search section. It presents the key lexis that is used in relation to each unit's topic or theme. Ladies, how do you teach your students vocabulary? Are there any special techniques that you use in order to explain the new words? Flashcards, games, context, pictures. Well, yes, there are many ways to explain new words. However, the main ones are pictures, physical movement, context, and if our students have enlarged their vocabulary enough, we can apply definitions. In order to get more success, we need to know our students' ways of perceiving information. Since they are all young individuals, every student uses a different way of memorizing and understanding data. Ladies, which ways of perceiving information do you know? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. Visual, audio, oral, movement. Okay, the main ways are visual by look, oral by sound, and kinesthetic by movement. In the vocabulary search section in the Kids Online, the new words are introduced in many ways through illustrations and recordings, through context or sentence samples. The accompanying activity book pages provide a further practice with those new words and phrases. In the end of this section, there's a personalized task which encourages students to use the target vocabulary in their own pieces of written or oral English. However, the vocabulary section is not the only place where new words are introduced. They can be introduced in other sections in clearly organized boxes, words for you, which are, once again, recorded. The students can check the meaning of the new words as well as develop their dictionary skills by applying the vocabulary list, which is in the end of the student's book. Then we have grammar. Ladies, what helps your pupils to learn grammar? Tables, rules, pictures. Okay. So, grammar is clearly presented in the boxes, tables, and examples in the student's book in English. Grammar tables highlight the target structures and help students to do the exercises. And grammar book can be used alongside with the student's book as an additional resource to provide more readings and practice on all of the grammar material presented in the student's book. This book supports every grammar lesson, and the rules here are explained in Ukrainian, and grammar is presented through real-life situations by our course characters. Then grammar exercises follow. Aside from traditional exercises, there are also speaking and writing activities so that students can use the target grammar structures in their own speaking or writing. Then we have reading. Ladies, how do you motivate your pupils to read? Interesting texts, games, discussions. Good. Well, in Kids Online, the reading search section takes 2 lessons and it is presented by each appropriate text in different genres. These texts are based on up-to-date information and on different engaging topics, including culture and real life that are relevant to students' age, level, and interest, which motivates them to read those texts. When talking about teaching reading, it is useful to think of your lessons as having 3 phases: before reading, while reading, and after reading. So first we have the before reading phase. It is clear that the key to success here is your and your students' preparation. Teachers, make sure you know the text well before you let your students read it. Help them to predict the content of the text by discussing the title of it. Pre-teach the meanings of all of the new words that are put into words for you boxes, and that way your students will feel less worried about the new lexes and will concentrate on the task more. Explain the task clearly and check whether everyone has understood what they are supposed to do. Then we have the while reading phase. Usually all of those texts are recorded, so switch on the recording and then let your pupils read the text for the first time. Go around the class and offer help where necessary. Then we have the after reading phase. Let your pupils read the text again, but without the recording. This allows them to feel that they have achieved something because this time their understanding of the text will be better. Then tell your students to do the exercises. They can do the exercises in the student's book as well as in the activity book. This will enrich your students' practice of those new words and will lead them to the better understanding of the text. Next, we have listening. The listening search section in Kids Online is designed to encourage students to listen and understand what they hear. Just like teaching reading, teaching listening also suggests 3 phases. Can you guess what they are? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. Pre-listening, while listening, and after listening. Yes, well done, teachers. These 3 phases are before listening or pre-listening, while listening, and after listening. So, phase 1, before listening. Once again, it is the preparation phase. Make sure you know the text well, foresee what difficulties your students might have, and you should get your learners acquainted with the target vocabulary. Then we have while listening. While your learners are listening to the recording, make sure that all of them can hear the sound well. While listening for the first time, your students are not expected to understand every single word. In fact, their main goal is to get the main idea of what the recording is about. Make sure your students understand the following task. This will help them to concentrate on the exact information that they need. Finally, we have the after listening phase, which is the post-listening activities. There are some tasks for comprehension and discussion of the problem in the student's book and in the activity book. In the end of the listening search section, students have a personalized task to express their own attitude and experience in their own words. Listening is then followed by speaking. The speaking search section is designed to encourage students to speak fluently and with confidence without worrying too much about the mistakes that they make. Ladies, why speaking is so hard for so many students? What are the main problems here? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. Students are shy. They have problems with grammar, bad pronunciation, lack of vocabulary. Well, yes, in fact, there are many different problems with speaking, but the basic ones are lack of practice and lack of confidence. In order to overcome all of these difficulties, we need to create a natural language environment in our classroom, which means our students should mainly hear English. Provide our learners with enough of listening. That way, your learners will develop their pronunciation and intonation. Encourage your students to speak as much as possible, which means you should let your learners talk not just only during speaking lessons, but also when having grammar lessons or reading lessons, etc. Let your pupils speak individually as well as in pairs or groups. This is especially useful for those students who are shy. Do not interrupt your students and be delicate with your correction and do it mainly in the end. So, the speaking search section in Kids Online provides the opportunity to act out dialogues and talks in drama activities. Drama appeals to imagination, and it is an excellent way for many students to lose themselves and to develop their communicative ability. Like all other skills work, drama helps students to talk and to be understood. By developing these performance skills, students practice and become fluent in expressing real-life situations. All of the following speaking activities require pair work or group work. They develop speaking as well as communication skills, and they create an environment for cooperation in class. A sense of achievement is an essential ingredient in promoting fluency. The speaking search sections in Kids Online give learners the opportunity to personalize the language they learn and to practice speaking together in pairs or groups, to play games using the new language, or to create their own dialects. As we all know, many personalized questions motivate many students to actually speak in class. Another productive skill that we have is writing. Ladies, what helps your pupils to develop their writing skills? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. Dictations, writing emails, regular practice, well, yes, texting. Well, in Kids Online, the writing search section is designed to encourage students to write in English with confidence. This section provides written models and activities to help pupils write their own texts on the same topic. Before writing their own text, draw your students' attention to the model text. Go through it carefully with the whole class and make sure everyone understands how everything should be organized. When doing tasks in this section, your students need to use their critical thinking skills. Don't make your students worry about their mistakes. Instead, you can make a list of useful vocabulary or give your students some time to make notes before they write anything. A lot of support, such as clear prompts and examples, enable many learners to write. And finally, we have revision. Ladies, what is the main aim of revision, in your opinion? To check yourself. Yes, anything else? Self-analysis. Self-reflect. Well, the main aim of revision actually is to look back on the work your learners have done and to reflect on how easy or difficult they found that work. The revision section in Kids Online is called Look Back, and it takes 2 lessons. It provides effective and engaging revision of all of the grammar, vocabulary, and communication presented in every unit. Activities in this section consolidate all of the skills taught in the relevant unit, and this section is presented in the student's book, in the activity book, and in the grammar book. Here is some advice on revision. Ladies, before you ask your students to do the revision exercises, give them just 5 or 10 minutes to look back at the whole unit. Then let your students ask you any questions and explain any points that you think your learners still do not understand. When you and your students feel confident enough, then tell them to do the exercises in the revision section. After completing those exercises, work with the whole class and give your pupils the opportunity to correct their mistakes in their notebooks. Go through any difficulties that your learners may have had. In this way, your learners will revise both vocabulary and grammar, but the look back section is more than that. There are always tasks in this section that let your pupils do things with English, like role play, share and discuss information, create a presentation or a poster, etc. In other words, your students are encouraged to draw back on their knowledge of the world in order to create an extended piece of English which is both meaningful and relevant. Project work is an ideal opportunity for learners to use English in a more creative and personal way that will give them a real sense of achievement. We suggest that students do their projects in groups because group work increases motivation and it also develops cooperation in class since students are asked to help each other and to share ideas with each other. Nowadays, besides books, we also have different interactive programs. Ladies, have you used any interactive programs in your teaching? If yes, which ones? English with Smiling Sam. Rosetta Stone. Yes, that's a very great program. Preply. Well, okay. Every student who learns English with Kids Online 5 has access to additional language practice through the Multimedia Interactive Program. A code to its access is printed on the inside front cover of the student's book or the activity book. This interactive program is a collection of carefully structured and planned digital activities that give students further practice of all of the material presented in each unit of the course. These motivating interactive activities encourage pupils to consolidate all of the language they have learned with the help of different grammar quizzes, vocabulary trainers. They can also use the English in practice option or the dictation option, with the help of which students will develop their spelling. Each unit also has the self-check section and a table called Now I Can. Ladies, what is the main goal of self-check? Why do we need it, in your opinion? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. To self-reflect. Yes. Anything else? Self-analysis. To check what we know. Yes, ladies, well done. The main aim of self-check is to give our learners an opportunity to consider their progress, providing them with further opportunities to develop their capacity for self-assessment and autonomy. The self-check section in Kids Online provides students with an opportunity to evaluate their own achievements by giving them opportunities to reflect on their own general progress in grammar, vocabulary, and communication. We suggest doing these tasks at home with the following peer work in class, when students exchange their work with their peers in order to check their classmates' works with the help of the key answers given by their teacher. This way, students can communicate with each other in a more relaxed and stress-free environment. And this approach provides your learners with the ideal opportunity to prepare for the test. Now, we also believe that our fifth form students require some materials that will help them to develop the skills they need in order to survive and succeed in today's rapidly changing world. These skills are called the 21st century skills. Do you know any of these skills? Please write your answers in our Zoom chat. Creativity, critical thinking, communication. Well, in general, there are actually very many different 21st century skills. But the key skills of the 21st century that Kids Online 5 focuses on are communication, collaboration, creativity, cultural awareness, critical thinking, digital literacy, and assessment for learning and autonomy. Now, let's take a closer look at each of them. Communication, collaboration, and creativity. So, there's a lot of pair work and group work involved in many activities in each core lesson of every unit. Project work develops creativity, and it also involves teamwork, which means students learn how to work with their peers in order to succeed in the following task. Cultural awareness. Due to today's globalization, it is important that our students gain understanding of all different cultures through the medium of English. The Kids Online lessons provide them with a wider perspective of cultural aspects, and they also provide students with an opportunity to compare their own culture with different foreign cultures. Critical thinking. Reading and listening activities lead students to problem solving and to reasoning. These activities are included in class discussion or in surveys. The content of these tasks is a great opportunity for students to analyze and predict. Autonomy and personal initiative. Each unit ends with a look-back section with project work in the end, which requires some simple data collecting or research doing. Students are also encouraged to present their own view on the topic. Learners are prompted to reflect on their learning with the help of the Now I Can box. They take full responsibility for their own progress through the regular self-check sections in the end of every unit. Finally, we have digital literacy. In Kids Online, students are encouraged to create their own projects with the help of different ICT tasks that require using different gadgets with internet connection. As you can see, our new course called Kids Online helps students to develop not just the English language skills, grammar and vocabulary, but also the skills they need in order to become the modern citizens of Ukraine and of the global community. And now, if you need some useful materials like audio tracks or lesson plans, welcome to our website libradara.com.ua. The exact links to those certain materials for the 5th form you can see in our chat. You can copy them and then use them in order to download all of those audio tracks and lesson plans for free. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, write your questions in our Zoom chat. Okay, no questions. I'm glad that everything is so clear to you. So, thank you very much for your cooperation and for your attention, ladies. I hope this webinar was interesting as well as useful for you, and I look forward to working with you even more. Thank you very much. Goodbye.